What's up, YouTubers? This is your boy Big Metroid Fan 12 coming to you with another video game review. And this time I'm reviewing the game The Mask, which was released on the Super Nintendo as an exclusive by Black Pearl Software. Now, this game is pretty much based off of the 1994 comedy movie The Mask, which stars Jim Carrey, you know what I'm saying? And the movie is pretty much based off of the Dark Horse comic book series, The Mask, which is the movie is loosely based off of this particular comic book series. You know, now the plot of the game is pretty similar to the plot of the movie. Is pretty much the same thing actually, where Dorian Terrell and his gang is trying to take over Ed City. You know what I'm saying, in regards to that criminal underworld. And then there's the fact that Stanley Ipkiss, who was a bank employee, finds a mask belonging to Loki, you know what I'm saying, and he pretty much ends up being a superhero as a result of it, and he confronts and Dorian and all that to try to stop him. Now the game has 6 stages in it, and they all come from the different locations and scenes from the movie, you know what I'm saying. Now the stages are Stanley's apartment, the streets 1, the streets 2, the park, the jail, and the 6th stage, which consists of 2 parks, the sewers and the Coco Bongo Club, which is now the sewer aspect of it is, I don't know why they included that, because there was no scene in the movie where Stanley was in the sewers and stuff. Now the bosses consist pretty much of Miss Pittman, who is Stanley's landlady and stuff, a guy with a shotgun, a guy with a powered up leaf blower. Then there's some prisoner with a couple of wrecking balls chained to his wrist, and Dorian wears the mask. What's odd to me about the boss battle with Dorian is that him and Stanley are wearing the mask. You know what I'm saying? Which is odd to me because there was only one mask in the movie, and only one person who was wearing the mask at a time. You know what I'm saying? So it's impossible for both of them to be wearing the mask at the same time. Now, as far as the bosses are concerned, the only ones that's from the movie is just Dorian and Mrs. Peeman. You know, as far as Dorian's gang, I don't think none of them are in the game. And they should have, some of them should have served as bosses in the game. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's mainly the only gripe I really have with the game is now, as far as the characters that's from the movie that's in this game, is really Stanley, Tina, um, Mrs. Pittman, and Dorian. But as far as Tina is concerned, she's in the background during the Dorian boss battle. Now, as far as the weapons that Stanley uses as the mask, they're pretty much boxing gloves, the mallet. He turns into a tornado, the phony guns, the horn, and the slide. Before Now, the only ones that didn't really make it in the movie was the boxing gloves and the sliding attack. You know what I'm saying? Because Stanley don't use them in the movie when he puts the mask on. Now, the mallet, tornado, and the sliding attack are the only weapons that he uses that will cost you morph points. Now, after you use them, the morph points pretty much slowly goes up back to 50. But you can get some M's to really like increase the morph points up higher than 50. You know what I'm saying? And there's other items that Stanley can get. You know what I'm saying? Which are the hearts for health, the hats, which are served as checkpoints. The Loki mask serves as one-ups. You know what I'm saying? Then there's the diamonds and money for extra points. Then Milo will give Stanley in extra energy, morph points, and $50 in cash. And Milo, of course, is Stanley's dog and stuff. Now, as far as the graphics and design of the game, they're pretty good with some nice color palettes. but they pretty much matched the animation of the Mask cartoon show that came out, I think, like a year later after the movie. You know what I'm saying? Now the controls and gameplay are actually the best aspect of the game. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty fluent. You know what I'm saying? Now the only gripe is the hit detection. If an enemy is like really close to you, you gotta make sure that he's in arm, arm reach away when you're using like the boxing gloves, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, it's pretty good, you know what I'm saying? Now the soundtrack, it is pretty good, but like the graphics and design, it the soundtrack pretty much matches the cartoon show more than the movie that it's based on, you know. Now, the Mask on the Super Nintendo is one of a handful of games that's based on the movie that's actually good, like the Star Wars trilogy, the original one on the Super Nintendo, Batman for NES, GoldenEye for Nintendo 64 and its remix. So that gives you an idea of what I'm talking about. You know, considering for the most part the games that's based off a movie typically suck. You know, and honestly, I would recommend the Mask to anybody who is like interested in the game, you know what I'm saying? And if you happen to enjoy the movie, you're going to enjoy the game, you know what I'm saying? Because it's pretty faithful to the movie in terms of the locations, you know what I'm saying, and the comedy, you know what I'm saying? That's where it's really faithful at the comedy, you know what I'm saying? Now, as far as the score, I definitely give it an 8 out of 10. It's a pretty good game, you know what I'm saying? With that being said, if you like The Mask, you can mention it in the comment section. And if you feel that the game is faithful to the movie, you can also mention that. If you like any aspect of the game, like the humor or the graphics or the gameplay or whatever, you feel free to say so. You know, with that being said, if you like this video, don't hesitate to click the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification after you subscribe to. This is your boy Big Metro and Fan 12 signing off.